Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices, and starting with the DAX on the daily chart here. We've been looking at this with two counts, as you know, with wave 3 here, an A wave, a B wave and a C wave here for wave 4, and we're also looking with this move here as a move up for wave 1, and then an A wave and a B wave and a C wave here. I think I had this over here, so we had this up as wave 1 here, and then an A and a B and a C wave here back for wave 2 here, and then moving up from that point into wave 3, making new highs. But because it's pulled back too far past the 61.8%, we can rule out this count here, and we're migrating over to this count, but also migrating over to this particular count here with wave B here, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for C of wave 4. Now we also need to bring in another alternative count, and the alternative count here would be with, copy this here, putting wave 4 here, which would have this as wave 3 here, and this would be a triangle in minor degree, so wave A, wave B, wave C coming down to this point here, so I can just 1 second move that over to here, and then wave D here coming back up to 61.8%, and then wave E here of wave 4. So there is that this particular count, so we need to look at that as well. In fact, we'll look at that now, and in that particular instance we can start with this chart here. So wave 3 here, an A wave here, a B wave over here, an A and a B and a C wave here for wave C, and then looking for basically 3 waves up here for wave D, and then wave E here. We have talked about this count once last week, I think, and it's also on our charts on our website, and yeah, we need to take this into consideration now. So we need to be working through 2 counts here. I'm just going to save this. The takeaway from here though is that if this is going to move up into this space, so we can look at say 2,650 is always a nice number to start with there, so I'll just pop that in there. It's kind of in the middle of those two. We can work out when it gets there, but it does pose the question of, well, if that is going to rally, then we would need to be on the long side for that, wouldn't we? So we need a bit of a trade set up in this scenario here, so we'll investigate that as well in the next intraday chart. Whoopsie daisy. So, but I just want to put on here for the outside here is that, well, if this top gets taken out here, then we need to be long from that point. We can get a better entry on that, but I'll just leave that there for the time being, so it just gives us that sort of outside step to work with there. So in the move down through here, if we looking at our bearish count here, so back to the daily chart just for one moment. So with our bearish chart here, from wave 2 down to wave 3 or 4 and 5 here, then obviously this is not finished just yet, and we need to look at that. So I'll just take it from wave B, so wave 1 and wave 2 over here, and then we need to look at this in this regard here. So we've had short positions in here, may have taken profit and so on, and we had the stop from this point here, and now we can bring it down to this high. But if we're going to bring it down to this high, we could bring it down a tad further down here as such. And in this case here, we would be looking for wave 3 low here, an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 4, and then down for wave 5. I kind of like this because this only takes us up close just under the 12,500 here as the resistance. I kind of like this because this is what we're expecting with the S&P 500 as an A and a B and a C wave up here, and we've already got the A wave for the S&P 500, so a B wave and a C wave here. in this case. So yeah, so I think it's a good idea to protect the longs at this stage, the shorts at this stage, because if we consider that other particular count that we were looking at, the triangle count, then we need to look at this moving higher here into this space here. So we don't want to let this get out of control here. We need to take a balanced view, and putting a stop there would be would do that. Okay, I'm just going to save that. Now I do have other counts. As I mentioned before, when we came down to the 12,000, because we would have a series of fours, of this 4, this 4 and this 4, and we know that wave 4s are complicated because that's what we're going through in this much bigger picture here. You know, that, and they're just complicated corrections, and there's 11 or 12 different types of corrections, and all the complicated ones happen in wave 4. So in here we got these 3 series of them. So as I mentioned, it's going to get complicated in here, and I've got different counts for this here too. But at the end of the day, it's about trading and it's about taking signals. So we'll need to know when to be long or short within here, and that's what we're drilling into here at the moment. So on the 2-hour chart, let me just put this here. So on the 2-hour chart, it's actually different. This is what we had last time we spoke. We were looking at this as wave 1 here and 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3rd wave, 4th wave and 5th wave. In fact, it was on the hourly chart. This is a little bit different count here, but an A and a B and a C here for wave 4. So that's all panned out correctly. What I'm afraid of now is that we may have made a mistake, and we can go to this point here. If we don't go to that point, we can also go higher up here into the 12,650 before seeing a move down. So just need to be a little bit mindful here. So I'm just going to save that story and move into the 1-hour chart here. So this is the long side if we need to take this market with wave C being here. So the first things that need to point out here is that I'm going to copy that here. If the 200 here, the 12,200 becomes the retested resistance, then you need to be on the short side because we'll be in the bear market. So with this one here is that we would normally put that on top there and go long from that point, but we can bring that down into this space here, and in fact, because it's 12,300 here, we can just use the normal classic trading levels pattern where we have the arrival here, the reaction, which is doing now, and then we can look to find support on here. So if you can find support here on top of 12,300, then you can go long from that point. I don't know what I've done on the tick chart. I mean, I have been working on it, but okay, we can have a look at that. Obviously this would need to change here in terms of the ABC pattern here, but if this was pulling back, this is where it would pull back from here. So like I mentioned before, if the 12,200 becomes the retested resistance, you trade long, and if this becomes support here, the 12,300, you can trade long from that point. So we were looking at taking this high out, then this high out, then you can put a trend line down through here. You could probably even adjust that trend line now to that top there and that top here if you wanted to, but I just find that it's best. I can't draw on this side, so I'll just draw here. So when this moves back up here, it needs to find support. It needs to move above the 12,500, then it needs to come down in 3 waves. Once you've got those 3 waves, then you can do this, or you can do this, and then head up from here, okay? But you need that support on that 12,300. So because we've got 2 counts, this area in here would be the area that we just leave alone, allow it to drift in there, but support on the 300, go long, and this as resistance here, go short. So moving over to the Netherlands, we're also looking at this slightly different here. We were looking it in terms of the move down from the high here as wave A or wave 1, wave 2 or wave B here, and then looking for a move down. So we're also looking this too the same as the DAX in terms of wave 3, an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for wave 4. So that's panned out quite nicely really here, but we'd still need to see a move down from here. Okay, so in this instance here, if we see a top being made above this high here, then we can look to move in long on this side here. Okay, otherwise allow it to go down, but even if it moves down, it's not going to move down that far. It's got support of the trend channel here, which you can see is really playing out quite nicely through here, but we're still 1 wave short here for this. So I'll just save that, but we'll have a look at the hourly chart here for this. So this is where we were last time. We were down here somewhere, and we were looking for a move up to into this space, either here or here. So that's panned out nicely, and the market has turned lower from here. It will find support at the 60% retracement level, which would be basically where it is now in here. I don't need to draw that in there. So it can still you know, have its rally here and then move down into 3, 4 and 5, coming into this space here. But as I mentioned, now we can configure that here for a long trade here, just in case we get caught out here. We don't, like I said, we don't particularly want to miss anything, and the setups, be them long or short. I mean, the wave count is good when we're confident and we can see what's going on, but otherwise we just need to be a little bit mindful. So look, above here would send us long at that point and get us back up into this point, but all that said, otherwise we'll just be moving down through here, and it leaves us with the FTSE, which I still don't have the right count for this either here. I'm unsure of this count. As I mentioned, the whole move down here can be counted as 1 and 2 and 3, A and B and C for 4 here, and down for 5 here, which would leave us a move back up into this box here, which we've pretty much sort of got. The move back down through here is its retracement level here, which is basically about where it is now. So I don't want to make any calls here just yet. I still need to see more price action here. So because I'm unsure about the other 2 European markets, then I can't really sort of say much here. But this is the 61.8% mark here. So if that becomes a retested resistance, then we'd be on the short side from that point there. But there could certainly be a move down here and then one more move up into the 61.8% mark here. Of course, there would be a reaction here at the 700 because of all of this here. But this could just be the first reaction as an A and a B and a C, and then back up here. I just don't know yet, so I don't have a lead on this. I'm just going to have to wait here. We've got the levels right in terms of movement, but I don't have a clear wave structure on this here. Also, the Italian MIB is on track as well. A bit the same as the other markets really. That we just looked at. We're still short wave structure from here, so as wave 4 here, down for 1 and 2, and wave 3, an A and a B and a C for wave 4, so that's moved nicely. We'd still be looking for one more move down here as well. So we can look at this still making one more low coming into this space here. However, the same thing applies again here too, that we need to know when we're wrong. So if I can just grab this here and give us our little trigger picture here, and we can place that pretty much up there, and being long from that point in case I'm wrong in any way. But even so, I don't think this market would go very far as such. It's just not, its structure's just not finished yet, you know. And to the downside here, we can look at something like this here. Well, it's still the same, the 2100 area here. Alrighty, look, sorry I don't have any clear answers today, but that's how it is some days, you know. I mean, it's like each day in the week. There's 5 days in the week. Out of those 5 days, if you're day trading, then, you know, it'd be a bit impossible to expect every day 5 of those days to move strongly, wouldn't it, you know, and in your favor. So I always found that to capture nice trends as an intraday trading sort of scenario, that you would either get 2 of those days or 3 of those days trending quite nicely. So that would leave you with 2 or 3 trades a week that would trend nicely, and I think that's always a nice fit to find. So looking for 2 to 3 trades a week in those markets, and they would be, you know, safer trades. And out of those 2 or 3 trades, you'll catch those, but at the same time you may end up having 2 or 3 losses to get those 2 or 3 trades as well. But if you manage your risk right and let those other ones run, then you should be fine. Thanks for tuning in, much appreciated. Cheers.